Well, joining us now is another Sky News host, Paul Murray. Great to have you here. Paul, of course, has interviewed Donald Trump. Paul, you woke up this morning to the reactions. I know you feared it, I've feared it, we've all feared it for a long time, an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Paul, what's your reaction to this morning?
Yeah, g'day, Rowan. Well done on the coverage to you and everyone who's
Thanks,
been
mate.
putting it together this morning. It is exactly what we were all afraid of. And also in terms of high risk, you don't have to be a security expert to work out that he's not speaking with any sort of protective glass around him. He's there in front of 40,000 people today, 40,000 people tomorrow, 20,000 people the next day. So he's been in this situation that you would imagine that the security bubble around him is very well practiced. We obviously saw that with the people who physically made it to the stage, but as you're talking about that outer ring of protection, certainly MAGA world on the internet is making all sorts of claims about official attempts by the Trump campaign or the Secret Service running with Trump, that they wanted even more detail, more of it beefed up, but apparently that had been knocked back. We'll all see what happens in the next couple of days about that. I also agree with what Annalise said, and I know that there's sort of a little echo effect that happens here where people are going to start sending back the headlines of how other media organisations covered it. Yes, there are people that have been afraid of this moment, who care for the president, hope for his eventual return to the presidency, but there were also those who had feared that something like this would happen and make him a martyr, and they were the ones who have, of course, in my view, as James has been saying, as well as yourself and Caroline today, is that the rhetoric in and around this presidential election is a disgrace. For all of the condemnation of the language of Trump, what about the language of Biden and every Democrat who says that the democracy's on the line and there'll be no country if Trump ends up winning the election? So the motivation of somebody to think that they were doing a good and holy thing here is part of the mix. Obviously, we don't know who the shooter is and what their reason for doing it is. But if you want to look at a whole series of behaviours that have led to this moment, it is about endless people over endless years trying to pretend that this bloke was everything from the devil to Hitler and then something new and worse. And would it be any surprise that somebody would try to take that out? And like everyone else, thank goodness that didn't happen. But I mean, literally, it's millimeters difference between what story we're talking about this morning. But in either direction, we'll all be feeling like this for a little while to come.